Welcome to 3 Steps. This is the first part of a 3-part interview with Josh LeGassick. Now, who is he? He's a businessman who's been in the world of tech. He's helped 3 startups. One of them he just took public after 12 years. And he's now moved to Vegas and he's working on his new project. He's also a father of 2 young men. And in this one, we talk about masculinity. And then we moved right into what does it mean to be a man? And that was a really great conversation because it brought up him having 2 fathers, you know, his actual birth dad and his adoptive father, you know, and mixing the families together. And then when we moved into a conversation about what it means to be an adult, we had a blast. We laughed our butts off. But that led to a fun conversation about what does it mean to be a good citizen? Ultimately, all of this is a conversation for him about how to be an example to my children. All right, watch the interview. I'll see you on the other side. Welcome. This is Josh. Josh, you want to tell them about yourself?
Hi, everybody. My name is Josh LeGassick. I am 48. Yeah. I am recently divorced, actually. Mm-hmm. You probably know that. And just moved to Las Vegas, so I'm actually didn't fly in for this. I'm here locally now, but moved here around June, April, so I'm still kind of new from moving last year, and great to be here.
Yeah, right on. Who you are to me is this very embodied man that is fun and a blast, and when it's time to be serious and handle shit, you're like, thump, you're razor sharp, right? Yeah. But when you're not doing serious, you're just living, man. You are happy and out there. And when you're, and the thing I appreciate about you is you are so incredibly genuine. Like even when you're down, you're like, dude, now. It's serious.
People don't always want to hear that, but that's what's there sometimes, right?
It's brilliant, and that you walk through life like this has created such a culture around you for yourself of people being vulnerable and being real with you, and I really do like that. So it's one of the reasons I want you on here. You walk your talk, you live it, and you thrive. And I think you're somebody who's very successful, and I think you're someone like dad, and kick ass at being.
I feel like a dad for sure.
But I didn't grok that until later when you were like, yeah, I'm a dad. I'm like, what? Of course you're a dad.
Yeah, right.
Right. So all right, so let's get into it. So I'm going to ask you the first question I always ask everybody else, which is, what does masculinity mean to you?
That's funny. So I don't really think that way.
Yeah.
I think about who am I as a person.
Yeah.
And I think about men and women as like equal, and so maybe part of my untraining myself from how you get raised was to not make men and women be different. So masculinity, femininity. At the same time, that's not true because men and women are different, right? Yeah. So when you told me before, a little prep meeting, I had to think back, like what is it? So growing up as a kid, and what is masculinity? Confidence definitely is one of those things that. And again, it's not like women shouldn't be confident, because I actually think all people. I have that quality. I don't know how I could get rid of it if I tried. Yeah. So, but that's one of the areas of masculinity for me. Some things aren't necessarily all positive. I'll say. When I look back, how did I form my ideas of masculinity? But the first thing that came to mind was do it yourself. So it's almost like just being able to live alone, not necessarily being a man, but kind of growing up, and do it yourself is like fits for me because growing up, my parents built the additions to their house, and everything was about you don't go buy fixes, you fix things yourself, right? So to me, it was fixing things, doing it yourself. So this is, I grew up in the 70s and 80s. And while psychology was very prominent and starting then, there was also this huge aspect of life of, I don't need that. I don't need that. Yeah. I'm just using that as one kind of example. Yeah. I don't need you, and I can do it myself, right? Yeah. Another area for me of masculinity is, I'll get to like one of the negative ones, is like being aggressive. So there's being in control, and then there's being aggressive, and I have both of those. In me. Yeah. When I thought about that question, I contrast it to how I grew up. My parents got divorced around when I was 4, and very soon I had a stepmom and a stepdad.
Oh yeah.
And to me, masculinity, I'm thinking of my 2 dads, and so I have my my dad, who was like compassionate and like me and curious, and kind of, since I, was younger with him, loves me in a certain way and allows me, like, everything I do is okay.
Yeah.
And then I had the stepdad all of a sudden, and that's where I got this concept of aggressiveness and started to take that on. And defending yourself also is a way of being aggressive, right? So being defensive in conversation, being just defensive in certain environments, right? And then the aggressiveness of physical, sports, activity, trying to be out manly to your peers as you grow up.
Yeah.
So those are some of the things that I come to mean masculinity, and not all of that is necessarily, I would say, the positive side. As I've gotten older, compassion is actually an area of masculinity I've had to learn because I wasn't, for whatever reason, most compassionate. That wasn't like the biggest tool in my shed. If anything, it was lacking. Yeah. Right? For me.
That's legit though, man. A lot of guys go through that.
Yeah. And so part of the being in control is also taking care of things. So whether that's as a husband, as a father, in your work life, your career life, or coming into your backyard and taking care of the grill. If you're busy with something like that, part of masculinity to me. Yeah. Whereas if I contrasted that, let's say if the woman isn't a cook, she wouldn't want to come out and take the grill to help you out. Now, not to mean that our friends wouldn't and couldn't do that. I've seen it all those ways. Yeah. But as I grew up, I would see, if somebody's doing that, I should do that instead of her, kind of a thing. Yeah. Not a sign of weakness, but not necessarily only a taking care of that person too.
Kind of a guy role?
It's, kind of like a guy role. Like I was on the airplane, I was in Denver visiting a friend, and on my way back, two women, not necessarily elderly, but for whatever reason, their bags are always heavier than men's bags. Yeah. And so some of them can't lift it up, right? Yeah. And a guy should pop up to help lift the thing, not another woman, but you see it both ways. Yeah. And for me, that would be more masculine than sitting there and waiting till somebody else did it or observing it or that kind of thing. So those are some examples of what comes to mind. Another thing, I guess, on the career business side, which again, I want more about who are people necessarily than masculinity is my core kind of what am I paying attention to, but money. Yeah. Like who's working, right? Yeah. Who's making money? I'm a little conflicted by, I grew up, all my parents worked. So I ended up having two parents, two step parents, 4 parents. Yeah. And that was, that worked out really well. There's also a different life that some friends have when their mom doesn't work and their dad does. Yeah. There's different ways of taking care of the household, I guess. Yeah. Things, I guess I shouldn't say, more like reminds me of my grandparents than my parents. Yeah. That also question, are the benefits of everybody working, which is the way I grew up. So when I went to get married, I wanted a woman who was going to work. I didn't ever consider somebody just taking care of the home, right? But I do see the benefit of that too.
Those are good. Those are all good points, man. And it's interesting to start unwrapping it when not all men have a relationship, in their head to masculinity means this. Being a man means this.
I really didn't until you asked me.
Yeah, and it's funny to unfold it, right? To let's pull that in back and
What comes up to mind? Another idea to me was just being like your dad. Yeah. So having 2 dads, I kind of had 2 versions of the good and bad on both sides, and then superheroes. Like a lot of them are men, not all of them are men now. Yeah. But growing up as a kid, thinking of Superman and that's masculinity. Yeah. Being impenetrable. Yeah. Being able to stop a train or fix anything, save a dying person, whatever would happen in that Superman issue. But he was also loved by everyone because of all that stuff. Yeah. So there's getting admired for being that archetype, man.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's crazy to think, right? Yeah, it's the exploration of self, and it's especially when you don't put your attention on it, and you're just I got that handled. And then you're oh wait, what does this?
How do I think about this?
How do I think about this stuff? Yeah, exactly. What does being a man mean to you? Is it any different than masculinity?
I think there are some differences in thinking about what is masculinity. I don't have to think about what's missing. It's just about what is there. And when you say being a man, it's what are the things for me to work on that aren't. So like I talked about compassion earlier, that's a big one for me. I think being a man is being compassionate is just for me, a big part of what that is. It's not necessarily that I'm great at it. Looking for areas where I'm not, or trying to feel or sense where it's not there and the other person's looking for it from me. And I didn't know it until all of a sudden oh, wait, they don't want me to solve this problem. They want me to listen, right? Like that's one of the key indicators to me. I don't know. Yeah, some people just have that in their veins and I have the opposite. Yeah. I think another part, which I wouldn't have if I didn't have kids, is being an example for my children. So I have 2 boys. Yeah. So it's about being, if you're gonna be a man, what is being a man to your sons? Yeah. So I don't really, and I know there's the opposite or a different effect, which is what is being a man to your parents. Yeah. I never really felt like I had that to prove or anything. Yeah. So, but having a son and then having another son, it's being an example. And what is the example that I am to them? And because I have 2, I'm like 2 different examples. Like they don't think of me exactly. There's the things they all laugh about me about or whatever. Yeah. Like grumpy dad days, things like that. Right. That they laugh about. And then, but I know when I'm with one son and I'm with the other, if they're not together, they, take away different experiences. Or I'm trying to provide something different to them. Maybe that's why, as who I am as an example to them. But then all of a sudden, it goes back to this, what is masculinity? Because then what am I trying to provide to them? Be confident, trust yourself, ask for help. If you need it from me, don't just hide, for example. And who are you going to be in the world and being true to that?
What does being an adult mean?
At the simplest level, I would say it's taking care of yourself. Yeah. Paying your bills, cooking or buying your food, however you do it. There's fast food galore that's just it's less expensive probably than to make your own food these days, I feel. Yeah. I like to cook, so I don't use fast food very often. Yeah, and then there's things that I wouldn't call necessarily being adult only, but like being a citizen. Oh, okay. It's like I like being patriotic. I know there's all, with Twitter and our president now, there's media that doesn't make the country look good at all, and not just our president, like all the politics, like just everywhere. Yeah. In the world, no countries really look great in the world of politics to me right now. But there's things when you say, what is being adult, that immediately I'm like, well, you vote? You pay taxes, right? You pay the bills.
Yeah. This legit stuff, right?
That's it. Yeah. That's it. You don't actually have to prove anything else to be an adult. It's like being a citizen and an adult is you're 18, or in our country or in other countries, different ages. And I think, adult's not a big trigger kind of deep word for me necessarily. Maybe I should look into it more.
Maybe not.
Because friend is a different, word to me. Yeah. Or like you said, being a man or being an example for others, being part of a community, whatever that role is, having things be equal is more important to me maybe than, there's friends that I have who remind me of my kids. They're adult kids. My kids are in their 20s. And I don't think of them as not adults, but I do think of them like my kids. Right. They don't clean up after themselves or whatever. Yeah. The thing is, they don't seem really serious about their responsibilities. Yeah. But I don't know for sure. I'm not asking them. I'm not getting into their business. So I think, it's you take care of yourself. You turn a certain age. You pay your taxes. You vote. You whatever else we have to do. Follow the laws. Yeah. Follow the rules, and that's kind of it.
Thanks for watching. What'd you think of that conversation? Straightforward to the point, I know, but citizenship. Have you thought about this? What does it mean to be a good citizen? Leave a comment down below. Tell me what you think about that conversation. All right, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and by all means, join us in the Facebook group. All right, see you Wednesday.